Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Dane Diddy.
Ambitious Ace.
We about to review Captain Marvel,
Yes, sir.
the movie. We're only here because she don't want white people reviewing her movie.
Don't be enforcing that.
I'm just joking, man. She did not say that. We actually watched the clip of what she actually said.
Yes.
That is 100% not what she said.
Nah.
So just Google Brie Larson, what she actually said.
Yeah.
And the YouTube video should pop up.
She made a lot of valid points, that people need to adhere to. So shout out to Brie Larson.
Yeah, shout out to Brie Larson, man. Very good actress. So, Captain Marvel, man.
Yeah, man.
What were your expectations going into it?
My expectations were that it's going to be an origin story, going to learn about who this great superhero is going to be, supposed to be the most powerful one. And I just took it as, I'm going to walk in, watch a movie. I didn't want to set my expectations too high because, one, it's an origin story and everything like that. Two, it's just that when it comes to Marvel movies now, like, they've been doing so well that I don't want to go in thinking that everything is going to be automatically great, We got to still treat these as films and everything and critique them as just because they set the standard, just chill out.
Yeah, well, I didn't see any trailers for this, which always seems to make it better when I watch a movie because
Really?
I don't know what to expect at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the locations, sets, anything because I didn't see no trailer.
Right.
So going in, my expectations were probably higher than I should have said it just because, like you said, it's an origin story movie. So when I got into it, I had to remember that. Like when we got like 20 minutes in, I'm like, hey, man, it's an origin story.
Right.
It's not the continuation to Avengers.
Yeah.
It can't get straight into the action.
Right.
I mean, even though it did get straight into some action, it can't get straight into the action because we
the
have
one
to
that you're
figure
looking
out
for.
who she is.
Yeah.
And once I remembered that, I chilled out a little bit more,
Yeah.
and then I actually enjoyed the movie for what it actually was.
Right.
So I wanted to see, how did you feel about Carol Danvers and Jan Rug's relationship at the very beginning of the movie?
I thought it was interesting because, she's coming off as, she's this all-powerful character.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers.
Everywhere, just so you know.
And, the fact that she has somebody kind of mentoring her that doesn't really seem to be as powerful as her came off as a little bit odd to me. I should have picked it up in the beginning of the movie that, something was wrong with that picture. But,
he wants to fight on his terms.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty interesting dynamic. But at first glance, it did kind of seem like he was worried about her well-being, her state of mind, and everything like that. So he did a good job of portraying that.
Yeah, he definitely did. He started out making it seem like he really cared about her. And then the fact that he was trying to, restrain her from her strength. He saw how powerful she was, so he was trying to mentally break her down in a sense and kept trying to tell her stop fighting from her heart, fight from her head. But for real, she should just do as she should because, as we found out later, she's more powerful than pretty much everybody. So she doesn't have to fight you on your terms. She can just do whatever the hell she wants to do.
Yeah.
How did you feel when she first landed on Earth and we got this first scene with her and Nick Fury and Coulson?
Well, before that, she landed in Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Blockbuster Video. So that
and it was funny because I knew when she said, asked the dude where to get tech, I'm like, he's going to point her to Radio Shack.
Yeah.
I knew it. I was like, he's going to point her to Radio Shack.
And, little subtle callbacks like that, it really just reminds us not only of, the time of the 90s, but to me, it just reminded me of how far the property of comic book hero movies have come. So it was kind of a nice callback in both those manners. But that first scene,
are you the Guardian? Are you the Guardian on this planet?
Oh yeah, he said, "Are you the Guardian on this planet?" That was pretty funny.
The security guard was looking at her like, "Huh?" I mean, I guard the strip of stores.
Yeah.
Johnny has the other side. And
she was like,
what?
"Oh, so you're over this district?" But yeah, the first scene with Coulson and Nick had me aside, especially for Coulson, because big Coulson fan, love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so it was great to see him there. And just the whole dynamic with them interacting, and then, I forgot what he was saying. I seen this girl, we got reports of a girl in a spacesuit, or I forgot what he said, but it was hilarious.
Funny.
Yeah, it was something funny. But the chemistry was on.
Going to a laser show or something.
Yeah,
like that.
just like in a laser tag outfit.
Yeah,
that's
laser
what he
tag
said.
outfit.
But I thought their chemistry was on point from the jump. It was cool. And yeah, I really liked that first meeting.
Yeah, I know I skipped the part when she got captured. Actually, they had tried to attack well, they didn't try to attack. They were trying to rescue a Kree from a planet,
Right.
and it was basically a trap. And the scene where she was fighting her way through the ship, but her arms were at a point where she couldn't really use them. Her hands were like locked up in this
She was going in too. Like
she really
she made a statement for herself with that. Like she wasn't a force to be reckoned with. She kind of had a little comedic flavor too while she was fighting and everything. Like when the dude was just like, ah, she was like, ha, and I was just like, yo, she is extra as hell. But it was funny. It was cool.
Yeah, and that was kind of like the precursor for her landing on Earth.
Yeah.
But so then we end up in a situation where somebody tried to assassinate her. She dodged it.
Yeah.
They ran for their life.
Yeah.
Jumped on a train, impersonated a woman, and we get our second Stan Lee shout out.
Yeah.
Because the first
one.
Oh yeah,
the first one was
credits.
called. That was great. That was a great send off. I like that.
So and normally when you go watch a Marvel movie, they show like scenes from all of the Marvel characters.
Yeah.
But this time it was all Stan Lee's like cameos in all his movies.
It was great.
Really dope.
Everybody in the theater clapped. It was a good moment.
Yeah. And in this scene, she's on the train, and then she walks by Stan Lee, and they said he was actually reading a script of a movie that he was actually in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's wild.
And then, like, Brie Larson looks at him, and he kind of puts the script down and looks at her, and he smiles at her, and she smiled at him. I was like, that was the perfect acknowledgement.
Yeah, it was.
For Stan Lee.
Yeah.
It was beyond perfect.
But that scene, though, where her fighting the old woman.
When she walked up and just stole on the old woman, and it was funny because everybody kept trying to hold her back. Everybody kept running up, like grabbing her.
Yeah.
But the old woman's doing all these flips and stuff like that. Whatever CGI or makeup they had
made
on
it look
Homegirl,
so
she was
believable.
on point.
Yeah, yeah.
And that whole scene, and then Coulson is riding with Nick.
Yeah.
And
Nick.
and next thing you know, Coulson, not Coulson, but Fury realizes that the Coulson that he's riding with.
Because Coulson radioed in. He was just like, y'all not at the Blockbuster no more.
Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Is anybody going to come pick me up?
Yeah.
And Nick Fury just looks at Coulson in the passenger seat, and we find out it's a Skrull. Now, if y'all guys don't know, the Skrull can impersonate everybody.
Right, right.
They can impersonate everybody down to the DNA. So you can't do a blood sample to check. Only way to figure it out is if you ask them personal questions.
Right, which I thought that was another neat detail. You know, really got to let us know even a little bit more about Carol and even more about Nick Fury, you know. So I thought that was a good way to use it as a plot device to get some, you know, story bits in there.
Yeah. So then after she basically the person, I think he got away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So homeboy gets away. Nick Fury damn near died.
Yep.
Crashed his car. You know, they meet up, or actually he gets the call from his boss.
Yeah.
They're looking at the Skrull body, dissecting the body, and then that's kind of when you get the hint that Nick Fury's boss is the leader of the Skrull.
Yeah.
He's impersonating the head of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agency.
Right.
So he tells Nick where to find her. Nick goes down there, has a conversation with her. The conversation was super funny.
It was.
And then they kind of figured out that they needed to go find out where this airstrip was,
right?
And it was Pegasus.
Yep.
Now, if you guys actually go back and watch the first Avengers movie, where they go to check out to do the research for the first Tesseract, was called Pegasus, which I thought it was dope.
That was real dope.
They made sure the continuity all the way from 2005. Nah, that's 2000.
No. You going way back.
I don't even remember when the first Avengers movie came out.
It was about 2012, man. You went way back.
Oh, okay.
It was about 2012 when that movie came out, somewhere around there.
It's just the fact that they made sure that the continuity in that film still stuck to what was going on now.
Yeah.
So you see that it's Pegasus, and then Nick Fury texts texts them in to get her. And it was funny, too, that whole scene where he's trying to break into the thing.
Oh, yeah, and then she just
blasted it, and he's just like, you sat there and watched me do all of this stuff
with a tape. Yeah. Yeah,
and then
that was funny.
And then that's when they meet Goose.
Oh, my gosh. Did that seem kind of random to you, his little admiration with a cat? We just like, yo, Fury loves cats?
Yeah, I hate cats. I can't stand cats.
Yeah.
But then we end up getting to a place where, the Kree is actually giving up because Nick Fury's in the damn elevator with him, and he calls him Nick. And
the Skrull
his boss calls him Nick.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that people only call him Fury.
They only call
Somebody
him Fury.
actually found a clip from Captain America Civil War.
He said that?
Not Civil War, but the joint with Bucky, the first one.
Winter Soldier?
Winter Soldier.
Okay.
Where somebody actually called him Nick.
Oh, snap. That's what's up.
So somebody was just like, y'all should have made sure y'all closed that gap a long time ago.
Oh man.
Because it was a Hydra agent. The Hydra agent called him Nick.
Oh, and he didn't catch it, did he?
Nah, he didn't catch it. So, but Nick Fury figured it out. He's like, hey man, she's on this floor right here. You go ahead. I'm gonna get off on this floor to make sure that she can't escape, and you go down to the floor that she's really on.
Yeah.
Which was smart. But she had already left.
Yeah.
Then he was left to fight off stuff on his own. The Skrull catches him. Carol luckily came back, saved his ass.
And then Coulson had his defining moment because, Coulson is the one that we all love and adore. And, Coulson was like, no, I trust you.
Yeah. Let him go free.
Yeah.
And then they stole the ship. And then she started backtracking and she went to go see Maria.
Yep.
Maria Rambeau, the person that.
How'd you feel about how the movie handled her flashbacks and everything like that?
I felt like they did a good job of handling the flashbacks. It was really dope the way they did it. Like when she walks in the bar and she's looking at the locations and it's flashback into moments she's had in those locations.
I like the first time they did it when they was trying to dig into their brain and it kind of played into every scene. So I thought that was a real unique way to show us, the history of Carol rather than, starting the movie like that. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So then she goes and runs into Maria. And then she also sees Monica, which is basically like her niece.
Yeah.
Because she's considered her aunt. They're best friends. But we find out at this point that Carol supposedly died years ago in a plane crash.
Yeah.
So Maria, now this is the part of the story that kind of throws me off.
Okay.
And it's just the fact that you have Maria Rambeau and Carol Danvers. And I don't know Maria Rambeau. And it's like you have to adjust to her character pretty quickly.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? We didn't have time to get to know her. The movie's only 2 hours long. So I'm very aware of that portion of it.
Right.
But I wanted to know her more. But I didn't get that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then the same thing. And Monica stole the show with just the small scenes that she had.
Yeah.
Almost in like a Kitty Shuri type way.
Yeah.
Like she was super kitty, super cute.
Right.
Super into like the fact that her aunt had superpowers.
Yeah.
But Maria is kind of like reluctant, like, you don't even know who you are. You're supposed to be my best friend, but you don't even know your name is Carol.
And it kind of didn't help because we didn't have that attachment. I mean, we had the pictures and the flashbacks and stuff like that. So we had an idea of how close they were. And, she was like, you're the only one that supported me and my daughter, me being a pilot. So we had those little tidbits, but it really didn't make you like, it was still, heartfelt. But it didn't come off as, man, this is hard, Kind of like, even her reaction, just to her reaction seeing Carol, it was just kind of like, oh, you're alive.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, my God, you're alive. So
Monica's reaction was a lot more interesting.
Right. So, I mean, I get maybe they just cut the scenes really odd. Maybe they did take a scene where it was a heartfelt reunion. But, it could have been a little bit more to get us to grow to that attachment and bond that they had as friends.
Cool Easter egg. The girl that plays Monica, the younger version of her is her sister, her little sister in real life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
That's actually pretty dope. I thought that was really dope that they did that.
That's dope.
So, and I think that she's going to be in Endgame.
We'll talk about that later.
We'll get to that in a minute. So, then Talos the Skrull comes forward and reveals itself as being the Skrull.
In the most comedic way.
Yeah, and that was hilarious. Just like, so what's that outside?
Yeah.
And you see Maria Rambeau outside.
He's just like, okay, all right.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah. A couple of jokes ensued, But basically what he ended up doing is finding the black tape of the black box.
That scene was hilarious, by the way, too. That's another callback that the movie did well. The fact when they put the CD into the computer and it was loading.
Oh yeah,
and she was just like,
had to wait.
She was like, "What's going on?"
And then he's like, "We gotta wait for it to load."
It's loading.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, bro.
And if y'all wouldn't understand unless y'all was in the 90s.
Yeah,
when you put something in. You just had to wait for it to load. And
you just
had
to wait.
It took forever to connect to the internet and everything.
Just
everything
the whole,
super fast now.
Just the whole setup of that. I'm like, good gosh, we have come a long way.
Yeah. It was just like this good 30 seconds in the movie where everybody's just kind of quiet, looking at the computer screen, just waiting patiently.
Yeah.
People don't wait patiently.
Shoot, even when she tried to make a call to him and she couldn't make another call because it was the operator said you used up all your time or whatever. I was just like, good God.
I hated those times.
Yeah.
So then she hears the black box and then she finds out that the person that she's been working with and the Kree that she's been working with are actually the bad guys.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's actually on the wrong side.
How'd you feel about that little twist with the Skrulls? Because, we came into the movie thinking the Skrulls will be the main antagonist, but how'd you feel about that?
I was cool with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was cool. It was a nice twist. I didn't see it coming initially.
Yeah.
So I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
And then that you find out that the person that she's looking for, who is Marvel, was actually killed by her boss, Jan Rog.
Right.
So she, at this point, is pretty pissed. Yes, and all this time she's been kind of communicating with Jan Rog, and she's trying to been keeping it cool, and he's basically like, "Don't move, I'm coming to get you."
Yeah.
Because basically at this point she's basically a weapon.
Yeah, basically.
So we finally find out that Marvel's hit a space station in space. They go to outer space, and we find out the Tesseract is there. Tesseract, which is the space stone.
Yep.
So basically, when it was found under the ocean by Howard Stark, they did research on it, and it ended up in Project Pegasus under Marvel's care, and she was basically trying to make a jump ship to help the Skrull get across the universe fast enough to find somewhere to live.
Right.
And then when they get there, the Kree finally show up.
Yep.
Jan Rong and all his gang and baddies.
Right.
I like Homegirl, too, with the sniper rifle.
Yeah, she was cool.
What's her name? Min Ever?
Yeah, she was pretty dope.
Erva?
Yep.
Min Erva. She was really dope character. We also had Karath, who was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep. Who? Who?
Oh, and they even made sure the details, like the Kree symbols on the ship from this movie were the same Kree symbols that were in the Kree ships for Guardians of the Galaxy,
right.
which was really dope. So then we find out that the damn cat is an alien.
I kind of called that because I was like, yo, this cat is just, what if he's a big old alien? And I kind of called that, but I ain't expect this going to be a cat like that.
Yeah, the big
tentacles and all that junk. Yeah, that was kind of weird, but I was just like, okay.
So the cat ended up eating the Tesseract for safekeeping, which was actually a pretty smart move.
Right.
And we end up actually seeing how Nick Fury lost his eye. He lost his eye from the damn cat.
How'd you feel about that?
I thought it was whack. But in essence, the way they dealt with it at the end made it seem like it made
because
sense.
it always plays on the top secret, like secrecy nature of Fury. Like he's just always so secretive, and it's just like, man, now that we know that he's covered that up, what else has he covered up that's probably embarrassing or anything like that? To make him seem
more badass.
Exactly.
Really
so that's what it kind of plays to me. I was just like, it's pretty dope.
So we see Captain Marvel or Carol Danvers start whooping ass basically.
Yeah,
she's fighting everybody from the Kree, and she's straight whooping ass. And then basically Maria ends up flying the ship back to, was she going back to Earth? Yeah,
they was going back because they was trying to, with Fury and before,
so they were trying to escape the ship.
And before that, we got the scene where she finally resisted all the things that the Kree put on her.
Inside of
she
the
took off the
Supreme
limiter
Intelligence again.
Yeah, and that was pretty cool because it's just like, man, just to know that they was blocking everything, her true potential and everything, and to see her, that whole scene just where she just unlocks her potential and everything. I love how she was glowing and how she flared up, her eyes was glowing and everything like that.
Her hair goes from being down and up into a mohawk.
Oh yeah, the whole outfit was really cool. I love how it can just pick up on any kind of moment, and just that whole scene where she just starts working. Like I was just like, yo, from that moment I knew they didn't stand a chance.
Yeah. She basically from that point just single-handedly whooped ass.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And then we end up on planet Earth. Jan Rog actually ends up crashing his ship because Captain Marvel was not playing around. She basically flew through the ship.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because when she flew by Nick Fury and them, they're like, what the hell is that?
Man, I mean, that whole sequence when she was just tearing up ships, and then that one part where she was just like, like she just did that and just tore up everything.
And the other thing that was hilarious is because basically Jan Rong, he called what's his name, Ronan,
and then he came,
Ronan came,
and then she came in front of him. She the fist pump.
Yeah, she destroyed the ship in front of him, and then she basically sat up and posted up in front of the ship like, what y'all want to do?
That big old shockwave.
Ronan's just like, all right, let's leave. So he came all the way across the galaxy just to leave because he's just like, I don't want.
But he said he'll be back. But I'm like, still, man, yo, that whole sequence right there.
Well, we do know Ronan's an Endgame.
I didn't know that.
Well, I knew that.
Damn. Why you tell me?
Sorry. I don't even.
I haven't watched any in-game promos. I haven't watched the trailer or nothing like that.
Some of the like video tags.
Oh, okay.
That's I know another thing that would piss me off.
Well,
too. It was on a thumbnail of a YouTube video. You should never do that. Never do that. That's foul for everybody involved.
Right.
But there's this dope scene where her and Jude Law square up again to finally fight again.
Yeah.
And then he pulls out his weapons, and then he drops the weapons. It's like, yeah, let's do this. Just me
that
and
whole
you. Just
damn
me and you.
monologue.
And then she just blasted his ass.
Shut up.
Kind of like the Loki moment when Incredible Hulk, when he was popping all the shit, he just grabbed them and just smashed them all over the wall.
Yeah.
She just straight destroyed him, just like that.
Started dragging him, put him back in the ship, send him home.
Ship, told him to tell the Supreme Intelligence she was coming back to whoop their ass too.
Right.
So, and then we, kind of get the scroll, and she takes the scroll off to find a place for them to live on their own, and she says she'll be back. So obviously she's been going for 20 minutes, 20 hours, 20 years. 20 years when Infinity Wars actually takes place.
Yeah.
So for the most part, that's the gist of the movie right there.
Yeah.
That pacing in the middle with Maria Rambo, that was the stuff that I was just like, I want to know more about y'all relationship, and I don't feel like I got enough time for it to develop.
Yeah, but in essence, the film still worked. I think it was a good origin story, and I feel like it filled the void to know why Captain Marvel is so important, especially to the Avengers storyline and everything like that. But as its own movie in its own right, I think they did a good job of good establishing the character. It's just, could have a little bit of tidbits that it could have touched on more to develop everything. But as far as Fury, Coulson, and even, the Skrulls and everything like that, I think it established another set of characters to the already established set of characters that we have all come to know to love and everything like that. So I think it did a real good job.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what happens in Endgame and what happens with Captain Marvel Part 2, because I feel like the second movie can really flourish since we already know who she is, how she got her powers, which we didn't talk about how she got her powers. Basically, the Tesseract ship that Marvel had built, she was having Carol Danvers actually test fly it, because at this point in the military, women weren't allowed to fly the planes.
Right.
So she puts Marvel as a woman, and she puts Danvers in the ship. The ship crashes because Jan Rog came down looking for her, because we find out she was a Kree this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And she was about to shoot it, but Jan Rog shot Marvel.
Yeah. So
Carol Danvers picked up the gun and shot the Tesseract thing. It blew up, and it infused her with powers from the Tesseract.
And I thought that was a good character defining moment too, because we saw all the flashbacks of how she was like never enough in boot camp and all this other stuff, but she always had heart. And I think that even calls back to the beginning of the movie.
It a cockpit, right?
Yeah.
Right?
And I think that goes back to the beginning of the movie, because he was like, don't use your heart, use your head. And it's just like, you don't want her to use her heart, because you know how strong she can be when she puts her all into it and the determination. So, those little things kind of made the movie define what type of character she is. And I think that was a defining moment, because even in the midst of not knowing what the hell was going on, she just found out that her mentor was basically from another planet. She still chose to go out the higher route, even though she didn't have no sense of anything. And I think that's what truly made her strong, is the fact that anytime she was willing to stand up for what was right, what she believed in, she went with her heart. So I think that was pretty dope.
Yeah, and the other thing was just like, it was this underlying moment, like message throughout the movie. People had been trying to control her mentally, trying to break her down and everything. And there was this moment where they show, like, no matter how old she was, she got up.
Yeah,
like she crashed.
That was a cool scene
flipped
too.
her race car, her go-kart. She tried to do something that she thought that people were saying that she couldn't do.
Right.
It looked like it hurt really bad. No matter what happened, she always got up. So, and it was like, you can see she was more powerful when she started listening to herself.
Yeah.
And she started doing how she felt that she needed to do. The whole movie, she had been listening to other people, and it actually made her weaker. And I thought that was a dope message for anybody, actually, but more specifically for women, because she's a woman in the universe.
Right.
So I thought that was actually really dope.
Most definitely.
And I think everybody should definitely check this movie out.
Yeah.
So I'm giving it a grade. I'm definitely giving it a check.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it was the best Marvel movie. It kind of reminded me of Thor, like the very first Thor. as far as the pacing went.
Right.
Because it's like I enjoy the movie, but it's not like it's something that I want to watch repeatedly. If
Right.
it's on TV, I may watch it, but probably not.
Uh-huh.
Captain Marvel, I'll probably check it out 1, maybe 2 more times. After that,
Yeah.
I'll just be waiting for part 2, which will probably have more of what I want to see in it.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a check as well. I feel like it's a great origin story. You know, a little hit miss in there, but for the most part, it did its job. It established the character, and you know, it set up what we all want to go into, which is Endgame, and we know another piece of the puzzle. And I mean, it still leaves the movie a mystery, so it didn't really act as like a precursor to Endgame. It still held its own right as a Captain Marvel movie, and I think that's what made it work for me, because I think a lot of people were just waiting to see how this will connect to Avengers, but I really wasn't waiting for that. I wanted to know about Captain Marvel, so we got to know about Captain Marvel, and I think the movie did it just right.
Well, a couple of things that I guess I want to speculate on, though. It's like, well, we see that Scarlet Witch is pretty much the strongest person with them now, and she was in Vision. They're the 2 strongest Avengers
And they're
now,
gone.
and they're both gone. Why are they so strong? Well, because they were part of the Infinity Stones. Carol's powers come from one of the Infinity Stones. So I'm assuming that's why she's the strongest. Thor is probably just as strong just because he has Stormbreaker right now. He can travel through the Bifrost.
Right.
But I'm just really curious to see where they go with that.
Yeah.
And we also got hinted at the fact that Monica Rambeau will end up being Photon in the future, because Photon is a superhero that actually went by missing.
It only makes sense though, because of the 20-year gap and everything like that.
It's been 20 years since that happened in the first Captain Marvel, so Monica should be about 30 years old.
And Samuel Jackson Fury hinted on it. He was just like, "Yeah, you can be like your auntie just when you grow up." Yeah. So yeah, it kind of hinted at it.
Yeah, so I'm really interested to see what happens with that, because Photon can actually turn into any type of energy. So she could turn to magnetic energy.
So the future is looking real promising for the MCU.
Well, Monica Rambeau is strong as hell when she gets her powers. So if not,
well, I'm just saying in terms of like, you know, but it's going to be different from the first phase. Well, I mean, this is not even the first phase. This is like the fourth, fifth, fourth. So
phase 3.
I think it's phase. But for the future generation of MCU movies, I feel like it's going in a great direction, especially if we want to get more characters like this, because I felt like the first generation of MCU kind of walked us in to even the general public of, you know, the superhero movies. Now I feel like even after introducing movies like Guardians and everything like that, we can start getting into the more out there type of characters that are really ridiculous and everything like that, and it's not going to come off to the public as weird. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I feel like this is going in a great direction.
Yeah, man. That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
How did y'all feel about the movie?
No spoilers for Endgame. I swear. Not even trailers. Don't be putting them down there. What do you think from this movie is going to happen next?
Well, even if they did see a trailer, they're not going to know past 20 minutes. So
I don't care.
I don't care either. I don't know nothing. Just let us know how you felt about this movie, Captain Marvel. Yeah. What was your favorite aspect? How did you feel about Goose? Did y'all know about Monica Rambeau? Because it's dope too. Because her mom's name, like her name for her ship was Photon.
I didn't pay attention to that.
You didn't notice
that?
Wow.
Yeah.
So it said Photon on the side of her ship, and Carol Danvers is Avenger.
Yeah.
So that's what gave Fury the idea for the
what he said,
initiative.
the prototype initiative. What did he say? The Protector initiative. Yeah. I was just like, nah,
Protector was actually another Kree.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that switched sides.
So it's kind of another little Easter egg.
Another one, yeah.
Okay.
Another one. Jim, man, let us know how y'all felt about the movie. Yeah. Let us know what your favorite parts were, what you didn't like. Did you care about the pacing? Yeah. You know, don't come in here with that hating that Carol Danvers is crazy. She's stupid. No, she's a smart young lady. Yes. Let us know how y'all felt about it. Hit us up on Instagram at TLC Podcast.
Ambitious Image.
Twitter at TLC Podcast Live.
Ambitious Ace.
Go over to Welcome to the Wall Podcast, man. Get that joint up.
Yeah,
so
man.
we can do the spirit animals thing.
Yeah.
And then let us know what y'all want us to do next.
All right.
All right, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.